Good morning. It's not morning, I'm lying. I'm being lazy. I'm on a day off. I just really wanted to update you because I have finally finished The Sword of Shannara by Terry Brooks. I'm feeling so accomplished right now. I have been listening to that since the beginning of January. It's a 26 or 27 hour audiobook and I'm just so proud to finally be done with it. My basic thought is I've given it 2 stars. It's probably more like 2.5 stars. I really enjoyed the world. I thought the world building was fantastic. I really enjoyed that side of things. I found the first half of the plot to be it really gripped me. I was really into it. And the ending was also really gripping. I was there. And then everything else I didn't like. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the descriptions of the characters. I didn't feel associated and friends with the characters, which for that amount of time I should really have felt like one of them. I should have felt with them. And I just really didn't. And it was just such a long slog to get through this book, not actually liking any of the characters. So yeah, that's my basic thoughts on this. I'm done with it. I shall never speak of it again unless I carry on with the series. I've not totally ruled it out, but realistically, it's probably not going to happen anytime in the next 5 to 10 years. So yeah, that is where I am with that. I'm also about to finish another book when I sit down and actually read it. I've got quite a few other things to do today. So I was going to finish Magic... Oh my goodness, what's it called? I'm having a total mind blank. Let me look. There we go. I'm nearly done with Magic Bitter, Magic Sweet. I'd got 20 minutes to go on that last night. And I've been reading it for 2 hours already. And it was 3 a.m. or something. And I was I can't do this anymore. I was struggling so much. I was I've just got to keep going. Only 20 minutes to go. Only 20 minutes to go. And then I fell asleep and it bashed me on the forehead. So yeah. Don't read when you're tired. It's dangerous. That is where I am at. I will update you later on when I have finished that one. As like I said, that is going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to get any Harry Potter read today or not. But I did do a good little chunk of that the other day. And I'm just sort of at Hogwarts now at nearly 200 pages in. Now I remember why this is not one of my favourite books at all. Goblet of Fire, in case you're wondering. Honestly. I enjoy the Quidditch World Cup, but it goes on for just way too long. Do you not think? Am I being controversial here? I don't know. So just another update. Because I finished that audiobook, which by the way I didn't mention the narration. The narrator was fantastic. I can't remember his name. I'm terribly sorry. I'll leave that in the description. But the narrator was really good. And I don't think I'd have necessarily got through the book without the narrator. So yeah, just to cover that topic. I'm now listening to the Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. As you may have saw recently, I pulled out a book from my TBR bag. Sorry, I'm watching my toast at the same time, making sure I don't burn it. I pulled a book out of my TBR bag and it was a Anne Frank book, but it's not the main one. And so I really wanted to get some background information first and listen to the... I just need to turn my toast over. Listen to the original book first before then moving on to the extra... I can't multitask, can I? Before moving on to the extra sort of material, basically. So yeah, I thought, because I'd got a spare Audible credit, I looked it up on Audible, and the narrator is Helena Bonham Carter, and that just sounds like heaven. 10 hours of listening to her talk to me just sounds fantastic. So I went for that, and I've just quickly started it while doing this toast, and then thought, oh, I'd better stop and actually speak to you. But yeah, I've got high hopes for this audiobook, not just because of the narrator, but also because of just what this book actually is. So hopefully it won't take me long to get through it, and I'll be able to report back to you sometime later this week about it. So as a further update, I actually finished Magic Bitter, Magic Sweet by Charlie N. Holmberg yesterday as well. This is the next day, by the way. Sorry. Yeah, so yesterday and today I'm just going to shovel into one. But yeah, I finished it, which means that I read 2 fantasy books yesterday, which I'm feeling so chuffed about. One of my goals this year is to try and pick up more fantasy, and finishing 2 in one day is making me feel quite accomplished. But yeah, Magic Bitter, Magic Sweet is about a woman named Mare, and I don't really know how much I can say without it being spoilery really, but she's like got these powers that she can use when baking. So like she could bake you, as an example, she could bake you a cake that would make you more knowledgeable. And the story follows her being sort of like kidnapped and taken away by a captor, being held hostage and being forced to bake cakes that this captor wants her to make. And it's a really messed up story. You don't get that it's messed up from that, but like it's so confusing. Everything's just all over the place. You don't know what's going on. Neither does Mare. Mare hasn't got a clue what is going on. And that makes her a really frustrating read at times, I must say. It definitely, there were times where I thought, come on, like, give me a bit of a break. Every time I think I'm getting a clue as to what's going on, just like everything is a bit whoa again. And I must say, the ending, by the way, is so clever. And it just made me think, oh, of course, about the rest of the book. Like, it was so obvious. It was like, why are you messing with my head so much? But in a good way, in the end. By the end of it, I did appreciate my head being messed with, and I gave it 4 stars. And I thought the ending was, to use a bit of a pun, was really sweet, magical, and it was just really different to anything I've ever read. If you're looking for something really different and you don't mind a bit of confusion, then totally go for it. I would say that I'm not sure whether it's going to stay a standalone, but I think it's currently a standalone. I feel like it could be picked up again. The ending left it in such a way where it could go on to more, although everything is closed in a really kind of satisfying way. But as it currently is, it's standalone. It's not overly long. I felt like it was pretty short overall, and so I didn't get a lot of attachment to the characters. I felt for Mare a little bit, but she doesn't do herself any favours. Some of her thought processes sometimes just made me go like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, if you find yourself in a situation where you've got a captor and there isn't an obvious easy escape, why are you trying to escape and just injure yourself? Because, yeah, that is a thing. Like, just try and play the smart game, surely. But obviously there is much more to the story than that. I was so happy with my progress yesterday, as I also started the Diary of Anne Frank, the audiobook. I think I mentioned that earlier. I've got quite a way into that. Helena Bonham Carter is a fantastic narrator to listen to. That is just going really well for me. I also started reading This Mortal Coil by Emily Savada last night. And that is just blowing me away. I read like a quarter of it. It's fantastic. The plot isn't necessarily something I'd normally pick up. Like, I don't tend to go for stuff that's got quite a lot of science thrown in, because my brain just doesn't really do science. And I thought the sci-fi bit might be a bit much for me, but so far we're all good. And I really like the dystopian feel with it too. If you're not aware of what it's about, it's in a sort of dystopian world where people have got, like, the best way of describing it is like a kind of chip that grows in their arm that becomes like a panel that can be programmed and have different apps on it, and people sort of live their lives with this panel. They can heal themselves with it. Like, doctors just hack these panels and put these apps on to heal people now. And then all of a sudden there's this virus that no one has a cure for, and yeah, that is the basic idea so far, and yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. And now that I've got as far into the book as I have, it's making me look at that cover in a totally different way. So I actually queue-jumped This Mortal Coil. It wasn't meant to be one of my next reads, but I might have something exciting coming up with this book, so I wanted to get it read ASAP. While we are at it, I don't think I pulled out a book from my TBR bag last week, or was it last week? I know I pulled out that one about, like, something to do with beheadings or, like, capital punishment. I can't remember. Failed killings. I don't know. I just remember pulling it out and going, oh yes. So I can't remember if I pulled that out last week or the week before. So I'm going to pull a book out of my TBR bag. Give me a second. can't even get to it as I've left it somewhere really silly. Got 2 and then I dropped them both. Right, got 1. I'll just have to put you down for a second. Okay, so I've pulled out a book called The Kite Family, and I haven't got a clue what that is, so I'm just going to go and quickly look that up. Right, I'm not really sure how to describe this book, but there's not many reviews. Like, there was something like 21 ratings on Goodreads, and that was it. And I've had this off NetGalley since 2015. I'm not entirely sure why I even picked this book, and I'm a little bit worried about it because one of the reviews described it as being some really heavy shit. Another review compared it to Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis, which I actually read at university and actually really enjoyed, so maybe I'll be okay with this after all. But yeah, the description mentioned something about someone moving out of asylum and going to live in a shop as a mannequin. It looks really bizarre, this book. So when I do eventually get to it, we'll see how I get on with it. I won't sort of force myself through it. If I do really struggle, I will try and keep with the thing that I started last year of actually managing to DNF things if I don't get on with them. But yeah, I'll give it a fair chance. And who knows, maybe I'll actually really enjoy it because, as I said, I did really enjoy Metamorphosis. It was really messed up, and I like messed up. So yeah, this looks really messed up too, like really messed up. The cover doesn't really give you much of a messed up vibe. It's just like really ambiguous, I feel. But yeah, that brings me to the end of this sort of reading update. I do want to try and get a haul up this week, so keep your eyes open for that. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe by clicking the image of me just so if you want to see more book reviews and other bookish content from me. And I will see you soon. Bye bye.